bird cherry tree is certainly in everybody's mind in Estonia as a beautiful tree or shrub full of white flower clusters in the spring. Toomingas, as it's known in Estonian, blooms in mid to end of May. Many also remember the strong scent of its blossoms that can be smelled from afar. I hope you have planted some near your home, as it's precisely this strong scent that might save you from the dog-snouted vicious raiders of Estonian folklore, Koerakoonlased. These half-human, half-dog monsters are known to capture and eat humans, sometimes entire villages. They've entered the Estonian collective consciousness as a bloodthirsty creature from far-off lands, ruthless with a taste for human flesh. But who are these hostile beings? Why do they despise people so much, and how to protect yourself against them? Let's find out. Welcome to Metsalaul, where we discuss creatures and characters from Estonian mythology, folk tales and legends, with occasional storytime, poems, songs and spells. First things first, there seems to be confusion online amongst the non-Estonian speakers regarding the name of this creature. Koerakoonlased is the plural of Koerakoonlane, and the other popular name for them, Peninukkide, is the plural of Peninukk. Both refer to a people, not a single monster. And there are various other names across Estonia. Koerakoonnud, Koeranukkid, Koerakoonnud, Koerakoonukad, Koerakoonurahvas, Peninukkirahvas, and Peninukkirahvas. Koerakoonlased literally means dog-snouted ones. Sometimes they are referred to as those from behind the mountains, distant, mysterious, and dangerous. Dog-headed beings aren't unique to Estonia, of course. There's obviously Anubis from Egypt, or the medieval European cynocephali, most famously Saint Christopher, and even our southern neighbors in Latvia and Lithuania have a similar creature called Sumpurnis. Koerakoonlased, however, are somewhat different. They're not just dog-headed. Some are vertically split, half human, half dog, right down the middle. One human eye, one dog eye, one hand, one paw. You get the picture. In some tales, they walk tall and furry, swaying a long tail behind them. In others, they run on all fours. The hands are clawed, the head can be fully dog-like, with a long snout, bristly nasal hairs, big ears, and even tiny horns sometimes. Other times, they are depicted with a single, giant glowing eye set in the center of the nose, similar to a cyclops. And they often appear as people, wearing regular clothes and even riding horses. They are really fast, sprinting on two legs or on all fours. Their sense of smell is incredibly sharp, but their hearing is terrible. It is said that a cannon fire won't wake them, but a touch will. And they are also not the smartest. Once a Koerakoonlane got on a man's trail and followed him by sniffing. After a while, the man could do nothing else but sit down and put his shoes on backwards. Then he fled to a riverbank and went into the water under the bridge, so that only his nose and mouth remained out for breathing. The man stood still this way in the river for a day and night. The Koerakoonlane soon followed the man by sniffing the tracks, but could not make full sense of the backwards shoe prints. It stopped on the bridge and said,
"This way, that way, came from here, went there."
Still, it could not find the man and gave up. Afterwards, the man came out of the river and this time escaped with his life. Koerakoonlased can also shapeshift, hiding their true form until anger reveals the beast. And in some stories they die twice, body first, then spirit. If the spirit lingers, they haunt the land for centuries. Koerakoonlased have a society just like ours. They have men, they have women, they have young and old, but people mostly saw the dog-snouted warriors during raids, wars, famine and plague, when they were hunting humans for food. No one was spared, especially children. Whoever they caught, they would tie up and take to their own land, treat them well there, and then use them for food. Most stories place Koerakoonlased in distant lands, beyond the mountains, deep in the forest, or even all the way to the edge of the world, where heaven meets earth. It's usually somewhere really far north or east. If they happen to live somewhere closer, then they live in swamp huts. Koerakoonlased aren't always mindless beasts. They celebrate weddings and births, they raise their children and even play music, usually violin, held in a paw, bowed with a hand. Still, the cruelty towards humans is unmatched. They are bloodthirsty, they don't just attack, they enjoy it. To survive them, you can trick them, like the man did by reversing his shoes and hiding in the water, staying still. Once upon a time, there was a girl walking by the river, and the Koerakoonlane followed her tracks. The girl saw that the Koerakoonlane was following her, and she climbed into a bird cherry tree. But the girl's reflection appeared in the river below. Koerakoonlane searched for the girl and saw the reflection in the river, so naturally, he began to lick the water to get the girl. He licked and licked, but the water didn't decrease. He reached out with his paw, but still couldn't get her. So he started licking again until he finally burst. The girl was in luck, because the best defense against Koerakoonlased is Toomingas. The scent of the bird cherry tree and the scent of a human are said to be the same, which is why the dog-snouted one didn't know to look for her up in the tree. That's also why people plant it near homes and why you see many streets in Estonian towns lined with Toomingas. Let's wrap this up with another short tale. There's a story that comes from a deep in the forest, the kind of place you don't wander into after dusk. In that forest, Koerakoonlased had built themselves a house, strange and crooked. There they gathered up captured people and locked them away in a chamber. They fed them wheat though, soft, sweet and fattening. These people, they weren't being kept as guests, they were being prepared. Each day, while the sons were out raiding, the old mother stayed behind. And every evening she'd pick one person to roast for dinner. One day it was a young girl's turn, round-faced, trembling and terrified. The old mother led her out gently, like she was guiding a child to bedtime. In the next room, however, the oven glowed orange, already swept and hot. A large iron pan on wheels waited by its mouth. "Lie down," the old mother said with a smirk. "Let's get you ready." But the girl was clever. She played along, lying down crosswise, so she wouldn't fit. The old woman scolded and tried again. Still, the girl resisted. Innocent, confused, pretending she didn't understand. Then she said, "Show me how, I want to do it right." And of course the old mother, chuckling, lowered herself onto the iron pan. That's when the girl sprang. She shoved the pan with all her might, sent it rolling into the oven, and slammed the door shut. Smoke curled. The girl didn't wait. She grabbed the old woman's key and unlocked the chamber. One by one, the prisoners fled into the forest. But then she heard a sound. Weeping. It was faint and muffled. The girl followed it and found the locked cellar. She forced it open. Inside was another girl, eyes wide and full of dread. "Tomorrow was going to be my turn," she whispered. The two didn't speak another word. They just ran, each in their own direction. Later that evening, the dog-snouted sons came home. There was no sign of their mother, but the dinner was warm and ready. They devoured it with joy. Until one of them found a finger with a familiar ring, and silence fell. Then the realization and the horror. They doubled over and vomited as if their very souls were trying to escape. And when they ran to check the chamber, they found it empty. All had escaped. Thanks for joining me at Metsalau. If you enjoyed this mix of monsters, survival and plant-based protection, give the video a like and subscribe for more Estonian folklore. Let me know in the comments what other creatures you'd like me to cover. Maybe plant the bird cherry tree near your home because you never know who's sniffing around.